everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you for joining me here today. This is your one-stop shop for cryptocurrency analysis, among other things. Now what we're going to do is going to take a look at NKN, which is a new kind of network. We're going to dive into the technical data to kind of see specifically what's going on, help you find good entry points, and just understand best practice in this market so you can make an informed decision. I'm not a financial advisor, please bear that in mind. This is only for educational purposes only. Always do your own research. I just have years of trading experience and I want to make sure to help you out the best way that I can. Also bear in mind too that I have $25 in Bitcoin available from Voyager, link in the description below. Also a link to my Patreon account if you'd like to join a private Discord channel, as well as an open Telegram community so you can just go ahead and learn and grow together. Really awesome stuff. So love your support, really appreciate you nonetheless. Why don't we go ahead and take a look at the video now. Let's get to it. Alright folks, let's go ahead and take a look at NKN, which is a new kind of network. And we're going to take a look first at Bitcoin and Ethereum, just kind of get a quick baseline on the market, see what's going on there, and essentially see if we can draw a correlation between the two, but just more importantly, get a big picture on what's going on. Alright, so we'll look at that first. So Bitcoin, oh wonderful Bitcoin, how awesome are you? So Bitcoin, here's what's going on. This is a 4-hour chart. First of all, I use Binance application. It's a desktop application, and my chart is TradingView. You can enable that up here in the top right, but original is the default. So if you're wondering what I'm using, just went to TradingView and switched that over. But on the 4-hour chart here, let's take a quick look. So Bitcoin, of course, we all know, had a major sell-off again recently with the news. Consolidation state right now, hovering anywhere between 51 and 46,800. Okay, so pretty big range, but hopefully that'll narrow and increase in the near future. But just note that the 100, 200, and 50-day moving averages are essentially trending above, which basically means that Bitcoin has a lot of work ahead of it to be able to get back up into this area. Just keep that in mind. Moving forward, looking at Ethereum. Now Ethereum is doing poorly considering how normally it does very well when Bitcoin does poorly, right? And the main reason I feel because of that is that ADA's taken up all the market capitalization and people aren't transitioning to Ethereum anymore, they're transitioning to ADA. So my guess is that Ethereum will react similarly to Bitcoin moving forward until that maybe the market cap's a little bit higher for ADA or people kind of get calmed down, so to speak, for that. But ADA's seen a lot of growth in the last 48 hours ever since Bitcoin decided to want to sell off. So just something to note. Keep that in mind. And we're looking pretty good shape here all in all for Ethereum. It's not in dire straits by any means, but that is essentially the current market sentiment for Ethereum. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at NKN. Now what we always do as per usual, in case you're new to the channel, just look at the 1-day chart first, 4-hour, 15-minute, and 1-minute, kind of work our way down. That way we understand the big picture and know exactly what's going on, looking at a bird's eye view before we take a look at the cellular level. And that really helps you make an informed decision on the entry point, because if you just dive right into the 1-minute or the 15-minute chart, unless you're day trading specifically, even still, you need to know the big picture of what's going on. Okay, so that's the whole point of this. So as you can see, NKN exploded back on April 8th and prior. So it went from, what was this? Holy cow. 669% in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, basically to say a week. In 1 week it gained 700%. So that's 100% growth approximately per day. That is significant. It's no wonder why the price came crashing back down, because that is such a large increase. Because if you look at the RSI, it was up over 70 for like 4 or 5 days straight. Anytime you see an RSI over 70, it usually retraces itself same day or within a couple of days. So that was monstrous. So that makes sense as to why we can see NKN having crashed down and then seeing lower lows, so to speak, and lower highs, because it just happens to have gotten up so quick, so fast, which I'm happy for because NKN's awesome. But on the same accord, we gotta see this bounce back, right? It's gotta correct itself eventually, and it does appear that that's happening right now. Again, just look at the 1-minute chart. The 1-day chart. Just looking at that right now, I can kind of tell that there is a shift in sentiment here. I do think we are likely to start seeing more bullish sentiment moving forward. I like that the RSI is still under 70. We're looking at 50. That's great. MACD is pretty level. Nothing to worry about there. That really just kind of tells us that the general sentiment is is neutral, but it is also likely shifting perhaps into a bullish sentiment. Now let's look at the 4-hour chart. And just a note too, I always like to use the 50, 100, and 200-day simple moving averages on this chart because they seem to be the most effective for support and resistance levels. I don't use them on the 1 minute or the 50-minute chart because they're not as effective, but here I think you get the best understanding. But just before we look at that, RSI is in good shape as well, right in the 50s. It did extend itself a little bit high. It came closer to 70, but still, that little increase didn't really impact anything at all. So what we want to see from NKN is consistent increases like this, short periods of consolidation, and just continue that step-up pattern. Step up, consolidate, step up, consolidate. As long as it has short periods of consolidation in between, then we can have a really awesome bull run from NKN in the near future without being so jarring that it has to come crashing back down, right? There's something to note. As you can see, there's an increase in volume in the past 24 hours as well, which is nice. But all in all, haven't seen a ton of volume in the past, but more specifically, it's calmed down a lot ever since that major retracement from Bitcoin. Okay. That being said, price is right now is above the 50-day moving average, which is important, but below the 200 and 100-day moving averages. So what we want to do is see the price come back up above the 200 and 100 and hold, and make sure it holds for at least, just say, a 24-hour period. Then we'll be in pretty good shape to see the price continue to increase. The other thing to note too here is that we do have a potential resistance level here that has been tested 4 times recently, and it was a previous support. So we'll go ahead and mark that guy. We are looking at right around 73 cents as a close approximate. So just be mindful of that guy. If the price comes back up here and gets rejected, we'll know why. But with the fact that it's been tested 4 times in the past, I don't know, week, you could say, then we're looking to be pretty good shape for that to break through, because the more often you test a support or resistance level, though, the more likely it is to break, right? 5, 10, 15 times, it eventually just explodes, if you will, and just breaks right through. So I wouldn't be surprised if it just kind of shoots right through that here in the near future. All right, so there's that. As far as support, maybe we can mark that as well. We do have a support right around 50 cents. Nice even number. So again, as you can see, it's kind of in this channel. It broke above previously, but that was before Bitcoin decided it wanted to sell off. So we're looking still in pretty decent shape here with NKN. All right, so that's for our chart. So let's go ahead and see if we can find a good entry point on the 15-minute or the 1-minute chart for you. And again, just a note here on the 15, RSI is low. This is awesome. This is actually probably a pretty good entry point in general, based on the fact that the price is so close to being oversold under 30 that the likelihood of it coming down is less, I guess you could say. There's also a potential support level here, which was a previous resistance at a 61. So why don't we go ahead and mark 61 cents. Come on. And just note that that is a potential support, kind of a tentative support, or minor support, if you will. All right, so right about 61 cents. Okay, so that's right where the price is at right now. So we'll see if it gets tested and rejected here soon. But on the 15-minute chart, I always disable my simple moving averages. They're really, for lack of better terms, not unnecessary, but not really something you want to use all that much, right? What I prefer to use is the VWAP line as well as the EMA line. Now the VWAP is interesting because what it does, it takes 24-hour period of volume and expresses it as an average price. And what's odd about the way that TradingView works is that it's not a rolling 24 hours. It doesn't take the average. It takes a 24-hour period. So what we're seeing here is a start of the new 24-hour period. It always happens at 8:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So whatever time zone you're in, you might see that drop off. And what it's doing, it's kind of resetting itself. But the bottom line here is that the volume weighted average price was in the range of about 66 cents. So we're currently trending under VWAP. Okay. One of my favorite indicators, but I don't love how TradingView does that update every 24 hours. It should be continuous, should be rolling. I'd like that better. That being said, let's look at the EMA, because that's probably the most important thing here, because the EMA line is essentially a exponential moving average, right? So when the price travels above the EMA line, it's considered to be bullish. When it's under EMA, it's considered to be bearish. So as we can see here, price came down, it's bouncing out to support, but it's still under EMA. So what we want to do before taking entry is wait for the EMA price, basically the EMA line to be below the price, and for the price action to be above that. Okay, so that's just something to consider, but I prefer to use the EMA line on the 1 minute chart, so let's take a look at that here in just a second. But yes, again, RSI is low, looking pretty good here. This is a potentially good entry point. On the 15-minute chart, just to clarify, a good entry for me would be to wait for the price to bounce off the support level, which it did, and to wait for 2 solid green bars. Okay. Now, if you see here, we do have 2 solid green bars. That tells me that we're in pretty good shape to take entry, likely as soon as possible. And again, with the price coming up, if just see it didn't take entry yet, and the price comes up and comes back down, wait for it to test again and see how it holds. Because if it breaks this support line and becomes resistance, then it's going to be a different story. You might want to exit your position and take a small hit. But again, always take small positions in the first place so that way you don't take such a large damage, so to speak, to your portfolio when things reverse on you. But that seems to be a pretty good trend for me. When I see 2 15-minute green bars above support, that is commonly a good entry point. So I mean, if you look back here, you can see the same thing happen again, right? Like this is two solid green bars above the EMA. 2 solid green bars above, and as you can see, this one here broke that resistance level really strong. Okay, so again, you'll see that as kind of a common trend, but 2 15-minute green bars works well for me. Let's take a look at the 1 minute chart, and let's just go ahead and get rid of that guy. So as you can see, the price has been bouncing off of this support level of approximately 61 cents, but the EMA line continues to lose, so to speak. So if we see here, price continuing under EMA line, and then breaks above, and it tries to stay above, but it broke and lost, but it held support on this 61 cent support line. So the good news is, comes up, stays above EMA, lost EMA, came back down. So what you want to see on EMA line in order to take good entry point, again, this is more for day trading rather than swing trading, but same rule applies. Instead of 2 15-minute green bars for just say a swing trade, you'd want to look at 2 or 3 at least. I would say more so 3 3 basically green candlesticks. In other words, 3 1 minute green bars, if you will. Okay. What I mean by that is it has to close above the EMA line and or support. Now, preferably EMA line. I like it when I get confirmation above support and EMA because it helps a lot better. But just say, for example, you're looking at this and you're like, okay, well, I want to take entry on something that's above support, and I want to wait for 2 solid green bars. Well, this is 2 solid green bars right here. But this is basically 3. So if you wait the full 3, you're in better shape, but you might potentially lose out, right? But for me, I like to wait 3 solid green bars above support and or EMA before I take entry. That case in point, I would have taken entry right here approximately. I would take 20 to 30% position, and I would gain somewhere in the range of 2%. That's great for me because my rule every day is to try to gain at least 2% if possible. 1% portfolio size, but I like to take 2 to 3% gains on just say an entry on a specific coin. Okay, and what my risk tolerance is a 2 to 1 ratio. So if I'm planning to gain 2%, then I only intend to lose 1%. So what I do is I set my risk tolerance to 1%. So heaven forbid I get into this trade right here and it goes down. I sell when I hit the 1%. So what you do is you mark your chart for the 1% loss. Heaven forbid you lose it, that's okay. You take another entry later and you get that 2% gain, you're still up on the day. Okay. Again, risk tolerance is so important. It's very, I think, undervalued or just understood because no one really uses it. I don't hear that much. I mean, I hear about 10x, 20x, and how amazing these picks are from these large these large YouTubers, and they don't tend to really exercise proper risk tolerance, risk management. So if you're new to it, always set a limit, set a goal before you take entry, and work within that. Right? If you're outside that range of comfortability, sell your position, get out. If you hit your goal and your target, sell your position, get out. Don't get greedy. Don't ride it out to the very end. You may get lucky once in a while, but you're not going to get lucky all the time. Please understand that. It's very important to use that and exercise caution when trading because this isn't gambling. This is trading. This is real life, and this is something that you can really be successful with if you have just some type of you have to have a goal, right? You have to be smart, you have to be wise. And I try to push that in all my videos. I'm going to have videos moving forward too soon with the training portfolio that I'm putting together for risk tolerance, risk management, and everything you need to know to be an effective trader, which I think is unfortunately not really all that common nowadays, especially in in cryptocurrency. So either way, that's a conversation for another day. Before you take entry here, though, just please be in mind, bear in mind to be cautious, be careful, wait for confirmation. No less than 3 solid green bars on the 1-minute chart, and it has to be above support, which is either support level and or the EMA line. Furthermore, we want to make sure on the 15-minute chart you wait for no less than 30 minutes. For the confirmation, you want to see 2 solid green bars, essentially two candlesticks that are closing green before you take entry above support and above the EMA line. Okay? If you kind of hold true to that, I think you'll be much better off. You'll be in a much better position to be more successful and more consistent, but always have risk tolerance and risk management. All right, enough about my high horse there. I hope you find this to be beneficial. If you do, please like and comment below. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. Also reach out to me through my Patreon as well. I have a private Discord channel there that we all communicate openly with. And of course, a free Telegram community too if you'd like to join that up. Okay. So either way, really appreciate your support and watching this video all the way through. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.